Okay, guys. Moving on, we're gonna go ahead and talk about ankle mobility. Probably one of the most, probably one of the one of the biggest problems that I see in squat coaching. I've done a decent amount of coaching at this point, and seen a lot of really good squats, seen a lot of really crappy squats. So a lot of times people have they'll round out in their low back, or they'll have issues. With knees rolling in, a lot of, more often than not, they're tight in their heel cord. So heel cord, that Achilles tendon down there. So when I say ankle mobility, a lot of people think, oh, I've got tight calves, and some people do have tight calves. I'm certainly not saying they don't, but the big culprit is just the actual heel cord. Now, some of you guys have ankle injuries, and then it could be very beneficial to have some soft tissue work, whether it was kind of your urosity or Graston type of thing, to get in there and break out of the scar tissue. But restoring some of that range of motion is very possible through mobility work. So I always recommend, with all mobility stuff that I'm talking about here, I always recommend kind of pre-rolling it. So if you're gonna go ahead and start, go ahead and grab a roller, whether I like just PVC pipe. It's harder, it's kind of nasty, really gets in there. Just some 4-inch PVC, but start by rolling the area that you're gonna stretch. So in this case, ankles. I'm not gonna show you how to do that. It should be pretty self-explanatory. Hurts like hell. Get in there, roll it out for about a minute on each side, or a minute. You could go a little longer if you want to, but a couple stretches that I recommend for you guys. We went through that dynamic warm-up, and so this is kind of the point where we're actually trying to create mobility and restore full range of motion. So anyway, I'll set this up and we will go through kind of my favorites. There's three kind of ways that I like to do it. I have preferences. Probably my least favorite. I'll start with my least favorite, work towards like what's worked best for me. But you can grab a kettlebell. Getting into the heel cord's tricky. A lot of times people are just, you try to get to this type of stretch, but it just doesn't apply enough force to really get into it. So, again, getting back to that squat therapy, find an upright or something that you can lean against here, and you're going to go ahead and get into this position, and you're going to put this kettlebell up your knee. Now you want to then rock forward, so you can kind of see me rocking my knee forward. They're trying to keep that heel more or less on the ground. Now this extra weight's going to just drive that guy down. You should feel it start to burn here. Now all these stretches that we're doing are going to be for about 2 minutes. You want to create a good plastic change in the body, and it takes at least 2 minutes of sitting into a stretch to kind of get that to start happening. Now when you're stretching the ankle, kind of important to do is to make sure that you kind of play around with that knee. And we talked about kind of flowing movements together, and like really make sure we're stretching all different ranges of motion. A lot of times people just have that one range of motion, whether the knee dips in or goes out. So if I was facing you, you can kind of see here I drive into that knee right there, that kettlebell driving down, and then I can kind of play with that range of motion right there. We obviously want to squat with our knees out, but you can get a little bit of extra flexibility by going in there. You'll feel tightness in different spots. So you would hold this for 2 minutes on this side, and then obviously we'd switch on to the other side. You can kick a leg back, or you can be in the bottom of the squat. Either way, again, you'll feel one side is way tighter than the other. So that's the way to do it with the kettlebell. Another way to do it, grab a barbell real quick, is a barbell stretch. So grab barbell, and this one can really bring the heat. Now you can't move your legs as much with this guy, but we get into the bottom of that squat, and I just put this guy across top of my knees, and I would personally load this with some weight, put 135 on the bar, 95, whatever, same thing. Sit down here for 2 minutes, that'll really drive down. It's kind of one of these old, Russian Olympic lifter stretches that you see these guys doing, and it's crazy. Their knees are almost touching the ground. So that's another way. And then just for simplicity's sake, and honestly kind of my favorite, is I like to get into a lunge. And I like to, I can work on this hip flexor on this side, but I put all my body weight, forward onto my knee here. Now same thing, I can really kind of play with those ranges of motion there. So see me from the side, get down here, and I just rock forward onto that. Now the key here is holding this guy for the 2 minutes. You want to really get in there, hold this for multiple minutes, in kind of while feathering through all those ranges of motion. This is all after rolling, and you can drive down at that guy right there, but the key is hands not on the floor, hands are up on my knee, or you can put your chest down. I mean, they don't have to be on your knee, but you want to bear all your weight right up over the top of that guy, and then you should just feel a real stretch right through this heel cord. Pretty effective. I found this one to be real effective. You know, get down there. It's simple. You can do this anywhere. You don't have to have a kettlebell, don't have to have a barbell. You don't have to endure that kind of wrestling around with a big kettlebell. You've got your own body weight. It should be plenty to get over there and just really put a burn in there. I mean, I'm already feeling a pretty decent burn just from the time right here that I've been sitting here. So those are kind of, you know, we're talking about mobilizing heel cord. It's simple. It's not complicated. There's a, you know, a lot of, you know, different, you know, again, people a lot of times will talk about banding it, which you certainly can. So I will run through that real quick. That is another option here. So I've got the band on the rig here. So again, you can just get right into that ankle joint. Same thing. Drive down into that guy. But to me, sometimes this feels like it almost pulls my leg back a little bit and takes away from that stretch. But if you can get enough force up and over that guy, you can really get in there, and this will distract that joint a little bit as well. So you can get a band on here, do that. That adds a little bang for your buck if you're looking to do that as well. So it's kind of just an additional way to get in there. You can optionally band it. I didn't personally do a whole lot of banding and managed to restore a lot of ankle flexibility myself. So that's the ankle. Just simple. Again, we're just kind of trying to go, you know, get in, get out, not be complicated with it. So ankles down. We'll move on to the hips and other joints here later.